This is real life magic.
Prison
escapes.
Existed instead of lived. I had to escape to reclaim my life.
Vale had the ability to...
Oh, I forgot all about the magic stream, to be honest.
This
One day.
is a true story. Val was the brains of the operation.
Hells yeah.
I'd done 15 years inside. I was ready to shed that life forever.
It's a dramatization of the accounts of convicted rapist and murderer Timothy Vale, the police and prison authorities.
I don't know if I can watch this with the DVDvideosoft.com on it. Alright, we'll start here.
I'm a country boy. And more than anything, I yearned for the woods and the mountains, where I'd always felt free.
I know, Dub. I know, man.
I made every kind of appeal I could, but they were all denied.
$45 minutes? Yeah, I'm fine with it on this show. This show fucking slaps.
I decided to escape.
We watched 3 episodes yesterday. This shit is so good.
Good morning, Glenn. How was your drive?
I know Elmira very well. I spent certainly...
What's up, Glenn?
Probably more time there touring the facility than any other maximum security prisons. Elmira has about 1,800 inmates in there.
And every single one of them a convicted
75
magician.
to 80% of them have violent crimes and are doing long sentences for assaults, murder, or rape.
Damn, that's a
Purpose of
hardcore
prison
prison.
is to isolate that person from society. It
Now
starts
this
with
is the blood
physical barriers
theisity
to prevent
magicians I
escape.
came for.
Yeah.
But you run
He
good
said
correctional facilities
75%
by
were murderers and rapists. I feel really bad for the 20% that's just there for having an ounce of weed or something.
This is my first time catching one of your streams, but I love your YouTube content.
Appreciate it, boy. Thank you, man.
Contraband flow from one area to the other. It's a random thing because you can't possibly frisk every inmate. If they're nervous, they're walking funny, that's the ones you're going to choose to search.
What is this? Is this a fake thumb?
It's a sense that
Sir, I was going to use it to make a soda can look like it's floating. Alright, fair enough.
Vale was easygoing, did whatever he was told. He had a good personality where you could talk to him and almost believe that he wasn't an inmate.
Once I decided to escape, I had to work out how. I never doubted myself.
They get to make their own
I have an
tattoos in
active mind
prison?
and I'm good with my hands.
I'm a fucking idiot. He made the tattoo gun out of a pin lead and pencil eraser. I see it now.
Mechanic. So I guess that's why I can see.
For some reason, I thought they gave him like a real tattoo gun.
It's just in the blood. And one thing was obvious. Elmira sure didn't have an outer wall or a fence.
God damn you, DVD
That
Videosoft.
seemed like a weakness to me. One day, as I came out of the mess hall, I noticed the louvers of a ventilation shaft on the roof of F block. And suddenly, it hit me. If I could somehow chip through the ceiling of a top floor cell and get into the
This is
attic,
a really quiet episode.
maybe I could get into a ventilation shaft and out onto the roof. From there, I could climb down to freedom on the other side of F block, using some kind of makeshift rope.
Ooh, was he gonna do what John
My
Parsons
cell
did?
was on the ground floor.
Now it's really loud, Jesus
Not
Christ.
long after that,
Ice of the
I met
Prime,
Timothy Morgan in the
McBomber.
yard. He had a double bunk cell on the top floor.
Tim Bill. Tim Morgan. How you doing, brother?
Can you ask for a sleepover in prison?
Morgan was serving a sentence of 25 to life. He was convicted of shooting a taxi cab driver in the face with a shotgun and stealing less than
Wow.
$100 from the man's body.
Turned
Holy
out,
shit.
He was a country boy too.
What do you hunt for?
Whatever you can find, man.
We became close, and I felt I could trust him. I decided to.
If
risk
there's one man you
nothing
can
about my
trust, it's the
escape.
guy that shoots a taxi cab driver for
Val was
$100
more
bucks.
dominant one.
I'm talking to something really important, right?
He was more the brains of the operation.
I'm gonna go busting out of here. Are you ready? Hells yeah.
But
Hells
escape was
yeah,
still just
huh?
a dream without the tools I needed to break through a
Let's get an
concrete
epic sauce out of here, bro. What do you say? Fucking dabs. Victory Royale, brother. Let's leave.
Take a look at that.
Who wrote this dialogue?
Artist. You see him as a, geez, this guy's got an ability here.
So what do you think about painting some Christmas decorations for the prison?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Have
Paint the
y'all
Christmas
seen the amazing
decorations
fuck
that
the
was
baby
assigned to the
mode pick up
carpentry shop.
Mizuko from Demon
Prisons
Slayer?
are like a city, and cities
I don't know what the
have
fuck
to
of
be maintained
that means, but I love
operated
Demon Slayer.
as efficiently as possible.
It was like destiny. All the tools I needed to escape were right there.
Yeah,
Inmates
you
do a
know,
lot of the maintenance work.
hacksaw, hammer.
If we didn't use inmates,
Sounds
we
about
couldn't
right.
afford to run the prison.
For my plan to work, I had to find a way to stay assigned to the carp shop. I started helping the other inmates. The civilian running the shop, Gary Silvers, saw that I knew what I was doing. Soon, I was like his coworker.
Aww. Gary's gonna be the first one to get fucked.
Now I asked him if he was still interested in busting out. He said,
Yeah. Right.
Hells yeah.
You gotta respect yourself, buddy.
I
Gamer.
told him to persuade his cellmate to seek reassignment so I could move in.
Self-transfers were done on a daily basis. There was no red flags or alarms raised when this happened.
Really? It's like college roommates? You can just pick and choose? That's pretty wild.
When the transfer was approved, everything was finally in place.
He's gonna eat that poop shooter. This is all business, dude. They're trying to break out. They're not here for rim jobbies.
Started as soon as we can, brother.
But if it happens naturally,
As soon as we can.
That night, we made an important decision.
So where are we gonna put the hole? Right there.
The corner near the bars was really hard to see from the outside.
damn you,
See more
DVD
about
Video
moving the
Soft.
bunk and hanging up clothes and towels. Nothing is supposed to block a prison officer's view into a cell, but they didn't always pick up on this. We were gonna try and dig through a whole load of concrete and slip away into the night. I had
That's
to make
quite a
sure
bold
Tim
plan.
knew exactly how the plan would work.
Okay.
This is the exact same plan, almost, that the guy in episode 2 used, Mr. Adams.
Carp shop, through the center gate, and into our cell. If we can dig a hole in the ceiling, there's got to be an attic space out there, and I'm sure there's a ventilation system that'll lead to the louvers on the roof. Okay, and then from there we climb down the roof and into the parking lot. Now, if we hide in the shadows, from there all we gotta do is run across the parking lot, and the city is just there. Okay. Right? Okay. Got it. And then, brother, we are free.
I wonder how many prison escapes have been successful, but they're too embarrassed
Now
by
we
the
needed a
method that they
sharp
never
little tool
released
from
it
the carp
publicly.
shop to start chipping
I
through the
imagine it's
ceiling.
probably a startling
Facilities
amount.
Designed, assuming that inmates don't have tools to break your system.
Thanks for the reset, Django.
Every facility has shadow boards. Take a hammer and you have a shadow.
Yesterday, a female
there.
streamer
You don't
showed a
have
picture of her
you get
vagina
the
on
best
stream.
cell doors, the
I call
best
that quality
bars on
content.
the
Would the subs
windows,
explode?
The best fences, but they won't do you any good.
I was never going to be able to smuggle out a hammer or a chisel. Then I realized something small and simple might do the job. Carp Shop's 3-inch sheetrock screws. They weren't on the inventory. They had sharp steel tips. And concrete is just cement, sand, and bits of rock. Keep scraping and you'll get through, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right, I guess.
I taped 4 screws to my stomach. And if a guard at center gate decided to pat me down, I had a decoy. Painting of mine I've been framing.
Damn, this guy thought of everything. What the fuck?
But I was smoking like a maniac just to calm me down. Getting caught would raise my security profile sky high. If this guy frisked me good and thorough, the escape was over.
Hey guys, how are you, buddy? What you got there? Just someone working on? Yeah.
Wow. Someone found a version that doesn't have a watermark?
Yeah.
Was racing.
Alright, buddy.
There we go.
Head on in.
Much fun.
Alright, you guys are easy, huh?
Good find!
You too.
Using my painting as a decoy, it worked.
Vale had the ability to manipulate staff in order to get what he needed into his cell.
What I got here, buddy?
Jackpot!
When I pulled out the screws,
Condoms.
Tim seen I really meant to go all the way.
I'm gonna use these to get Dig out of here. Sweet.
But hiding contraband in a 6x10 cell ain't easy. And we ran the risk every day of having it searched.
Ooh.
To get back to those woods that I loved as a kid, everything would be a test of will, wits, and courage.
We want DVD soft. Yeah, the real hero.
Less than 24 hours later, I started chipping at the ceiling. Tim was on guard.
They're always monitoring where the officer's at, and they use mirrors. That's what we call the radar. We have to counter their ability to know what we're doing. So
Isn't that
we
kind of
try
a
not
red
to do the
flag
same
if you
routine
see them holding a
over and
mirror
over,
out
you
there that
break
they're
it up.
trying to escape? Thanks for the resub, French fry.
I'll tell you. In the beginning, I thought, damn, this is gonna take some time. Imagine trying to dig through concrete with nothing but your hands and some metal screws.
Seems easy to me.
was
If you're
hard as
strong. Thanks for the prime prone.
I hid the first scratches with a sheet of black paper from all the art stuff I was allowed in the cell. That merged with the ceiling real good.
What do you think? I don't know if we're gonna be able to do this. At least not without better tools.
Have you guys ever seen Baki the
Found a
Grappler?
handle off a wood planing machine in the carpentry shop that wasn't in
Why
use
can't they
no
just
more.
be more like Oliver?
It would be perfect.
They
as
can
a
do
hammer
anything
for
they
the
want in
screws.
prison, including leave. Just get stronger, you fucking idiots.
Mercy Vale.
Tim got a special pass to visit the carp shop.
So it's shop, eh?
This time, he carried the contraband. I never doubted him at this point. The trust was just there.
Have
But I
sex with
wouldn't
a
know if Tim got
waifu
through
for
Center
muscle
Gate
nirvana.
until I made it back
Yeah.
to the cell.
That was a good bonding experience between us, Meadow. Just watching some good old anime waifu fucking.
Did you get it? It's in your locker.
Huge.
Morgan was able to get around easily because he was trusted. He was very quiet, kept to himself, and stayed out of trouble.
This is gonna work much better.
We stuck layers of tape to the planer handle to mask the tapping noise of the metal on metal.
Wow.
Now we started making some progress. But only when the noise levels got loud enough to cover the tink-tink-tink sound from the chipping.
This is pretty elaborate. So far, every
were
escape
times
has
when
been
we were
pretty
working our
elaborate, except
asses
for the
off
one
and
where they
seemed to
just
get
beat the
nowhere.
guards and left.
But when we filled a styrofoam cup with concrete chips, then we would say we had a good night and draw a smiley face on the calendar. The waste went down the toilet, or we just toss it in the garbage can in the morning. We were under constant pressure. Back in our cell, we had the working of a hole in the ceiling and all sorts of contraband that would get us years in solitary alone. The work was backbreaking. But by the fourth week, we'd made real progress.
Holy shit. How do you cover that up with tape?
Then something happened, which I was dreading.
What's wrong? We got a problem. What? I just hit rebar.
I'd worked in construction before prison, and I knew we might run into steel rebar supporting the ceiling. It was a real...
Can you go
battle.
around it?
And we need to cut through that.
Oh.
I knew only one place I could get a blade that might do the job. There was an old bandsaw in the carp shop. The whole thing was due to be thrown out.
What are the odds of that?
Nobody would notice a few pieces of missing blade. And there was a way to get them past the metal detector at Center Gate. Our tobacco packs had a metal foil lining.
That seems like a huge
They were
oversight.
searched by hand, then passed around the side to stop triggering the alarm.
You man?
Wait, him? Good, you?
But if the pack looked unopened, the guards were unlikely to check inside.
New pouch?
Yeah, I just traded it for some peanuts.
Good.
Next one.
One thing I learned in prison is that people might look real hard, but not see something if it's right under their nose.
That's a good lesson. I too have learned that from playing battle royales.
With a toothbrush for a handle, I figured we could get through the rebar with these blades,
Holy shit, this is pretty
even
elaborate.
though they were for cutting wood. But they wore out fast. Luckily, we only had to cut one side on each piece of rebar, then bend it back and forth.
How would that not make a loud
it broke.
sound?
It's working.
Our morale shot up again. We wrapped the used blades in tape and threw them in the trash. But the rest of our escape tools were still in the cell. Then, our worst nightmare came true.
It turns out we were digging into the
Officers
warden's
started doing
office.
top-to-bottom searches on our gallery.
Doing a search, doing a random search.
We made sure everything was hidden as best we could. Then just prayed our cell wasn't on the list for inspection. Okay, guys. 2 officers walked in, and we could hardly breathe.
Hey, is that a hole in the ceiling
Any
always
second
been there,
now, they'll
boys?
find
Or did you
something
do that?
suspicious. The planer
Oh, it's
head,
been
the
there?
screws,
Okay.
the
That's
paper
fine.
on the
I'll just
ceiling.
make a note of it. Sorry for the inconvenience.
They glanced around, ticked their check sheet, and just walked out.
These guys generally are good and cause no problems within the block, so there was no real reason to really concentrate on them.
We felt like we just dodged a bullet. We wouldn't survive another cell search if it was done properly.
Yeah, it sounds
So
about
we had
right.
to finish real soon if we ever wanted to bust out. I
This
decided
prison
we
is
bored a
on
small
easy
hole
mode.
straight through to see how far was left to go. I'll never forget that day. Suddenly, there's no resistance at the end of the screw. Pull it back, and there's a tiny beam of electric light coming through.
Oh! It's Jesus's glory hole.
There must have been some kind of bulb up there.
Isn't that bad news, though? Because that means you're going up into another cell or another room, right? Or at least
Pressure
that's
to bust
certainly a
through the rest of the
possibility.
concrete before another cell search made me want to take one more big risk. There was an old sledgehammer that was off any tool inventory. It was being used as a doorstop. If I could get the sledge back to the cell, we could smack out the rest of the concrete. Trying to get something that big through Center Gate seemed crazy.
Yeah, it
We
is.
couldn't hide the escape hole much longer.
So he's just throwing stealth right out of the
I
window.
made a spur-of-the-moment decision. I thought I had a chance. Remember, I got on pretty well with the guards, so I wasn't scrutinized too much.
I can't fucking... If this
But I was
gets
sweating it the whole
through...
way. The bag strap was digging into my shoulder because of the weight of the sledgehammer.
The inmate's job is to get around the rules, and our job is to enforce the rules. You have to be on your toes. You have to counter things.
I'm surprised he didn't put
sometimes.
it up his butthole like a lot of prison inmates do to hide
Suddenly,
things.
officers come out with a handheld metal
He wasn't
detector.
very committed to this. He got a
I'm
butthole
thinking,
keister,
I've
that
gone
bad
too
boy.
far. My luck can't hold. I'm going to get caught this time. They checked the guy in front of me, and I was next. It was like a slow-motion nightmare. I couldn't think of any way out.
Then all of a sudden, an EMP device
Then, I
detonates.
saw an officer off to the side who I knew.
How are you?
I walked over and spoke some bull with him,
Any paintings?
Yeah, I'm working on American Eagle spray rings and everything.
till I seen my shot to slip through the gate.
Good. Right.
That fucking idiot. Hey, he's a good guy. You don't need to. Hey, put that metal detector away. All right, boys. He's all right. He talks to me about paintings, and I like paintings. Thanks for
When
the
I
reset,
showed up
small
with that
Peter.
6-pound sledgehammer, Tim thought I'd taken a crazy risk. But he lightened up big time when I told him how we could use it on the 4th of July. The booming sound of the fireworks in town would hide the hammer blows.
No, it would not. There's a big difference between something exploding
July
a while
4th was only a
away
couple of weeks
and the
away.
sound of a fucking
Before
sledgehammer
then,
hitting a
there
ceiling.
was another pain in the ass we had to solve. Once we slipped out, we needed to hide that we were gone, at least for a few hours.
Knowing where an inmate is one of the most important functions that we have. There were a number of counts throughout the day, 6:30 in the morning, 10:30 at night, during the night, usually every hour. If the inmate's missing and you don't realize till 6:30 in the morning, they had 8 hours head start on you. Directly around the institution, there's a lot of woods, a lot of tough terrain where an inmate could easily hide out. Worse
Yeah.
than that, they could be in somebody's house.
Well, that'd be like the last place you'd want to go because they'd call the police and they'd find you pretty quickly.
My plan was to use my skill as an artist to trick the guards. I was going to make dummies.
I love when they do that. This is going to be the second round of dummies we've seen used for an escape.
Getting hold of some real hair sure wasn't a problem.
What's the... Alright. I ended up being so good at it that I just found a passion for it and I gave up on even trying to escape. I just wanted to make realistic dummies using real human hair. And I couldn't be happier.
The 4th of July arrived. We knew it was going to be a big night.
Thanks for the reset, Quack.
We'd have to work fast.
And the prime
As
giraffe.
soon as the fireworks started in the town, we got out the sledgehammer.
Yeah, this would not mask this sound. You would absolutely know. The human ear is designed to know, or at least get a
booms fell
read
in
on where
together with the
sounds are
hammer
coming
hits.
from.
Nobody heard a thing.
Bullshit.
We started busting through faster than we had in months.
This can't be a real story. Unless these fireworks are being set off inside of the prison, there's no way this is masking this sound.
All we could do was look up in amazement. And think how big the hole looked in that little cell.
It's okay.
I had to find a ventilation duct up there that led to the roof, or my plan was nothing but a load of bull. I put the dummy in my bed. For the body, I stuffed sweatpants and shirts under the blankets.
Thanks for the 500 bits, Sploogle.
I knew it was going to be a tight squeeze getting through the hole, so I stripped off and smeared myself in Vaseline.
Damn it. Oh, I have to
Tim
send a quick
made one long
text
cable
message.
out of all the extension cords we used for our TV and reading lamps.
Alright, someone fill me in
Then
because I was
I lined
texting.
the
What
hole
was the
with
point of the
plastic
Vaseline?
bags to assist in sliding through
Oh,
without my
okay.
skin getting
Never
ripped
mind, I
up.
see it.
Come on, Tim, ready? Let's go.
Thanks for the prime, Ian.
Once I got up there and I looked around, I seen the ventilation system leading right to the outside wall. Everything I'd imagined was there. It was one hell of a feeling.
I've never
moment,
crawled through a
I'd done
ventilation
15
system,
years in prison.
but isn't it
was ready to shed that
super,
life forever.
like, narrow? That, like, an adult male couldn't
There
fit
are
through,
those
and
that
you
will
probably
say,
couldn't rip it
"But you're a
apart like
convicted
that?
murderer." What about the victim and her family? And I agree. I feel so much remorse for that tragedy. But I had to escape, to reclaim my life. And man, now, for the first time, I could see the exact way out. Tie the sheets to the steel ladder that was there, creep to the edge, and climb down in the shadow of the turret.
Bulletproof
Imagine,
plan.
after all the blood, sweat, and tears you've shed for 3 months, and the night comes when you're looking at nothing between you and freedom. Can you imagine? Living in total awe.
Well, we know he gets away, otherwise it wouldn't be called Breakout, but this
Spent
story just
102
doesn't seem real to
days
me.
chipping through concrete.
The other
Now it was
ones I
go
totally
time.
believe. I mean, in
And
the
the
Texas
adrenaline
7
began
is
to flow.
very well documented, but this...
We guessed
I
the
just
roof was
can't
about 40
imagine
feet
a
high.
security...
11 sheets would
the
make a
security
rope
in a
long
prison
enough.
being this shitty.
Inmates are allowed to have up to 6 sets of sheets. If it's a 2-man cell, then you have a total of 12.
Thanks to the recep space.
We just hoped they'd hold us. Then we waited for the 10:30 count, where we had to stand by our beds. All I thought about them guards as they walked by was there was going to be a surprise in the morning when they try to wake us. I never had any malice for them. I just wanted to slip away into the night. and
That
hopefully
doesn't
never be seen
look
again.
real at all.
I wanted my life back.
Hey, Johnson.
Nothing more.
Who's supposed to be in this cell? Is it supposed to be a man
Tim handed me
that
up
looks
everything
kind of
we'd
like a
taken with us,
mannequin?
including
I
soap
don't give a
and
fuck.
a bucket
Just
of water to wash
put a
off
check
the
mark and
Vaseline.
leave it. You got it, boss.
Then he placed the second dummy in his bed and came up too.
It's a reenactment. No, I get that. I totally
We
get
got
that.
into the shaft where I'd
But
split
how
it open.
realistic of a dummy can you make out of prison materials, honestly? You're working with, at best, papier-mâché, cereal boxes like we've seen. And then hand-me-down, like, hair from haircuts.
Alright, let's do this. Okay.
Yeah, I guess I don't know how shitty the security is at jails, then that's fair.
We crawled towards the ladder. The fear of being caught in the process of escaping was messing with my nerves real bad.
Pussy, just jump off. You think they had security guards help them escape, but they don't want to
Hey,
rat the guys
Charlie.
out? No.
Love your content
That would make
since
no
Oregon
sense.
We snuck
Trail.
over to the edge.
Thanks, Chaos.
That's when the reality hit us.
Why the fuck
You
would
fall,
security guards help them escape? They're two
maybe you
inbreds
die.
that committed murders.
I lowered
It's
the
not like
rope
they have
down.
money to their name or
We
anything.
tied red sheets at the bottom to blend in with the bricks. Up to that point, everything had went just as planned. There was nothing between us and freedom but climbing down. Then Tim says,
I can't do it.
What?
I'm terrified of heights, man.
that's when I knew I had a problem on my hands.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
No fucking way.
Right?
Every second of delay was another chance of getting seen, or of the guards discovering the dummies in our beds.
Freedom is just 40 feet away, man. You gotta get it together.
To say I was beginning to get frustrated is an understatement.
Listen, I'm gonna show you how to do it, okay?
So I told him to follow me.
You gotta do this.
He goes that far,
was
he
gonna show
knowing
him how
full
easy
well
it
the
would be.
plan was to spelunk down the building. He gets there and he says, yeah, no, fuck this. Thanks for the resub. London, maybe?
Somehow I got the rope wrapped around my right wrist.
Never stop
couldn't go
making
nowhere.
amazing content, man.
The nerves, frustration,
Appreciate that, Spool.
adrenaline,
Thanks for the kind words.
everything got to me. Without thinking, I jerked my right hand out of the loop. It seemed like I hanged suspended for a split second. Then I went straight down.
Well, that'll do it.
I don't remember nothing from that point. Till I came back around a few seconds later and I was laying on my back, looking straight up at Morgan, peeking over the edge of the roof. I had to move quick, because half of my body was lit by the beam of a security light. My left side was agony. I said to Tim,
Tim, you gotta come down here. Hurt.
Tim replies,
No way, man. No way, not after seeing what you went through.
No, I'm just gonna hang out on the roof.
believe me,
I'm just gonna live up
that
here.
sure isn't what I wanted to hear. I had to get him down.
They're gonna find the hole.
I told him, if he didn't come down, he ain't never leaving.
You can't leave me like this. Alright, fine. Just wait.
Alright, just stay there. I'm
To
gonna
his
get the
credit,
guards.
He does it.
They'll help.
My fall had changed everything. Before, every dilemma I faced was somehow solved with no glitches.
My shoulder hurts bad. I think my ankle's busted, man.
Now I had only one arm and one good leg, and I needed both legs to get me where I was going.
Tim, it's over. We can't do this.
Well, what's stopping you, Jamie? You can leave.
You're gonna make me a sling. You're gonna wrap my ankle. Out of that sheet there.
I just knew that I had to get some distance between us and the prison before they worked out they were dummies in our beds.
Easy. I gotta do it quick.
Fuck Tim and just fucking run.
Tim shot out right past me,
Or, wrong guy.
but when the weight hit my left leg, it was agony. All I could do was hobble.
Thanks for the prime moose.
I kept thinking, we're gonna hear sirens at any time.
How the fuck did
Pain was messing with my mind. Worse, I still had to do all the thinking. I could see Tim was scared. He kept saying,
Okay, what are we gonna do now?
Thanks for the prime
Over the highway.
cider.
And into the woods, alright?
Oh, Dixon cider.
I
I see
told
it
him,
now.
we're gonna cross Route 17 and head up into the mountains. Because when they do morning standing
Thanks
count,
for the reset, Mayor.
all hell's gonna break loose.
Thanks, Mayor.
We got to Route 17. As I was getting across the last part,
I
a
gets
truck
hit
came
by a
around the
truck.
bend, and I just had to jump it. We just hoped the driver hadn't seen us.
Yeah, I'm sure I didn't see that. But then again, what's he gonna do?
I
Like,
was
if you
in
call
some
the police,
serious
hey, I
pain,
saw two guys in the
especially my
forest
shoulder
and
and
they
ribs.
ran across the road.
When we entered those woods,
Sir, don't you ever prank call us again.
it was like magic.
It's not a call that would get a lot of work done.
These were the
Thanks for the
sights
prime,
and sounds
dyslexic.
I'd longed to see again. I knew I was free. I knew I got away. I knew the joy I felt from within. We were just two country boys, trying to get back to that way of life.
How do you feel?
It's like I shrugged a 100-pound gorilla off my back.
What? Isn't your shoulder and ankle broken?
Lights on. Fire your beds. Bill, Morgan, let's go! Get up!
Generally on that 6:30 a.m. count, the inmates are out
Thanks
of
for
their
the
bunks,
resub, Atticus.
standing with the lights on. At that time on July 7th, the inmates were still laying in their
Thanks for the
beds.
resub, Bimbo.
And when they pulled the sheets back and discovered that there was dummies in the beds, all hell broke loose.
Call the warden, we got a break.
Oh, they called in the
My home now,
reinforcements.
2 hours away from Elmira. Your immediate reaction is, you know, how did that happen?
You believe this?
You've got 2 murderers out into the public, and it's on your watch. This is the worst case scenario that you can have happen.
No, there's certainly a lot worse. You could have 3
When an
murderers
escape
get out
is
and a
reported, we
rapist.
immediately locked down a facility.
I can immediately think of worse scenarios.
Then you have
A person could go up in flames and all the
a lot more
murderers and
correctional
rapists escape.
officers to go out
Know what
and
I
do
mean?
escape pursuit.
Everything can be shut down. I can get you as many men as you want.
At the same time, you're notifying state police, the local sheriff, the local law enforcement.
Morning, gentlemen.
My responsibility is to get to the scene and open up a command post.
God damn, they
To
called
start
in
what we
Gary
call a lead
Ferg.
desk and investigate
Woo,
this
baby,
incident.
that gets serious quick.
Escapees, both murderers.
When an escapee breaks out, they need transportation, they need food, a report of a stolen car, burglary within the area. Those are the things that we look for.
Yeah, I was starting to
Morgan
believe that
and
this was
Dale
all
were
made up, but once you
extreme
bring
risks
Gary
of-
Ferguson into the equation,
This is my office.
and I know it's real.
Let's remember that Vale not only murdered a woman, but raped her.
Jesus.
And she was 8 months pregnant.
Please don't hurt me.
Not only did he kill her, but he killed her unborn child.
Holy fuck.
In my mind, that's about as bad as it gets.
Yeah, that's definitely up there.
Within hours,
No doubt about
we
that.
had several hundred correction officers, law enforcement, state police in pursuit of Morgan and Vale. Their
Next stream, you should do a
responsibility is
watch
to
along of the
use
first season of
force that's
Titan.
necessary.
Can't do that.
You
I can
really
only
don't
do
wanna
what's
kill the
publicly
inmates,
available
but
on
if you have to
YouTube.
kill the inmates, you'll kill the inmates.
Thanks for the
It took
resub,
all my
Autopops.
effort to keep going.
Why
I
the
was
fuck
dealing
would the
with pain,
guards be
fatigue,
friendly with this
and
guy
trying to
then?
move broken bones.
A murdering rapist and they're just fucking high-fiving him, giving him free passes through the metal detector? Why?
My whole thought process was getting messed up.
Will it hurt baby top of his head?
What the fuck does that mean?
Then, we heard the chopper way off in the distance.
Can't even parse that.
You see
Thanks for the resub, Pardo.
We had to find cover, because I knew they'd be out searching all day, and I needed to rest real bad.
We didn't have any information in the first
Oh, it was
6
a
or 7
joke?
hours. We had none. That was the scary part.
Oh, I see it now that I read it. The TTS, I didn't get it. It's fucked up, man.
At 1:30 in the afternoon, we did get a call from a truck driver in the Rochester area.
I was driving on I-86
Thanks to the
this
Prime
morning,
Penguin.
and I saw 2 white males. One of them needed help across the road. He looked pretty injured.
That was a home run. We're very confident that these were our guys and that they were in them woods.
Right here, Highway 17 at Elmira Heights.
Eagle 1 heading towards Elmira Heights.
Well, I guess I was wrong. I didn't think anyone would take that kind of
Found an
call
empty trailer
seriously.
where I could lay up for a while. I didn't have the proper stuff I needed just to stay hydrated, let alone treat my injuries. I was played out. Tim was pretty wasted too.
What has Tim done? Tim's had it relatively easy, all things
Prisoners
considered.
who escaped from the Elmira Correctional Facility.
The next morning, the chopper was out bright and early.
Tim! He's a helicopter. It's gotta be the cops.
Suddenly I'm thinking, this is it, they found us. When the chopper flew off, man, we put everything into fast forward.
I think he's leaving.
Tim should really just abandon
Down
this
this little
guy.
hill into these heavy bushes along the creek bank.
Thanks to the Prime, disappointing.
Pain was just shooting through my body. We needed to find some transport. We followed the creek back towards town, maybe 10 miles at my pace.
Thanks to the Prime Supernova. In all 4 prison breaks now, the escapees always go to like woods and remote places. But I feel like I'd argue that's the wrong approach. Because that's the first place you think they would go, you know what I mean? Like, okay, they escaped, they're definitely going to the woods, right? Why not throw them for a loop and really catch them off guard and go to somewhere they'd never expect you, like a library? Like, you break out and you're like, where the fuck do they think I wouldn't go?
When the van got stolen.
GameStop. Just hide out at GameStop or something. I mean, who's gonna question that?
But right away, I asked myself, why? How long before this whole area is crawling with cops?
It was about 7 o'clock on the second day. I was on my way home.
Stolen white van reported on Lake Road. Suspects are 2 white males, matching the description of fugitives Vale and Morgan.
So I started heading that way.
But what the fuck is Gary Ferg doing right now? Calling the Men in Black?
Sure enough, there's the van sitting at the red light. I was kind of shocked.
I am in pursuit of a white stolen van headed northbound on Main Street, over.
Ooh, baby.
I followed the van, basically waiting for the cavalry to arrive.
We're about 2 blocks away.
Gary Ferguson's flying that helicopter
Go
himself.
over the radio, and I immediately thought, this is it. We just started heading towards that location. Everyone wants to be the one that catches them.
You see something? Yeah. It's cops, not my car.
It didn't matter which way we went. We just kept collecting more cops the further we traveled.
Yep, those stars
The
are
fear is
accumulating
that they
fast.
possibly have weapons. You know that they're escaped murderers, so they're in prison for life. They've got nothing to lose.
Tim and I were real scared. I didn't doubt we'd get shot by making the wrong move.
Then turn right on Margaret Avenue.
Then we came round a bend. There was a police car coming towards us.
Ooh, baby. That's game over right there.
There's that moment where you're not sure if they're going to ram into our vehicle or try to go through somebody's yard to get away from us.
Yeah, it's a really bold strategy to just throw yourself there as a meat
Your
shield.
adrenaline and your training takes over.
Get down!
I don't even remember drawing my gun.
Yeah, I'm sure Jamie has a real chance at getting
I
away.
was pretty pumped up.
Hands where I can see them or I'll shoot you!
I couldn't see his hand. I immediately thought he might have had a weapon. I yelled at him.
Get your hands out of your shirt! My shoulder's busted, I can't show you my hand! I don't care! Get down on the ground!
I couldn't raise my arm to surrender. In a flash, everything could have exploded.
Can't!
You want to wrap him up as quickly as possible before he has an opportunity to act.
I hope Gary Ferguson's still in that helicopter and he's got an RPG and just fucking nukes him. Just some high action shit.
Planning just to run into him as hard as I could.
Down on the ground, right now!
And I'm yelling at him, I don't care about your shoulder, get on the ground.
Get your hands where I can see them!
You know, I was probably pretty close to shooting him.
Get down on the ground!
It's a good tackle.
It took 17 weeks to dig our escape hole. To go through all that, and it ends in failure after less than 3 days?
That's embarrassing, right?
I just thought, shoot me. I welcome the idea. If it meant not going back to prison. There's no life there.
Yeah, that's the
Only
point.
existence.
Yeah, it's kind of the idea
fact that nobody in the community was hurt. You know, those 2 people had hurt enough people in this world.
Oh, good lord. Deserved. Yeah, it
A
sounds
key
about right.
factor in this incident was when Vale fell. If he didn't get hurt, he could have got outside our perimeter. That is a nightmare.
I was transferred to Clinton to do my solitary. Some guys in prison think I'm a hero
Wait,
for what I did.
was his total sentence 10
I
years?
consider myself a failure.
That's curious.
I spent 23 hours a day in a cell with only the basic essentials.
Was it for life? Okay.
It's a struggle to keep from just screaming and letting myself go crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry I didn't see it, Justin. That's a cute spin on it. I think that'd be a superstar magic trick.